What's up? Damn, I'm so happy to be back. What's up, Mark?
What's going on? It's been a while. How long has it been since we've done this shit?
Almost a year, because we started in September of 19, and then we stopped in November because of some life cards, but we're back.
So this is everything that I have uploaded already to PO3 on the SoundCloud was pre-COVID. And I think the last time that we had a podcast was around the holidays, somewhere around December, right? November, December.
And I think it was like back in November.
I should have listened to it back to see exactly what we were talking about. But I know it just had stuff to do with like gratitude and stuff like that. But since we've actually last had a podcast or even really talked,
so much shit has been going on.
The world basically just changed.
Yeah, 2020.
Everything is way different.
Yep.
And we were talking about a lot of stuff before this regarding issues, with relationships and stuff, and that actually have to do directly with mental health, right?
Yep, that's right.
And it's all, and it was family stuff, but we were getting really, deep into it, but we wanted to save it, and we weren't sure how we were going to start the podcast, but I think this was kind of a good way to dive into it, and start talking about what we were talking about. We can get into it a little bit further into the podcast, but I think we should just kind of brush up on what we've been up to. What we've been up to
in between that time and why we stopped and
how
it all changed.
Try and stay a little bit closer.
There you go.
Yeah. You could pick it up
right?
too.
Like for me, well, it's kind of both of us. We both had situations and issues that popped up in our life, and mine was a relationship.
Okay, so not to cut you off, but the last time we had a podcast, we were 5 episodes in, and we were going pretty strong. We had episodes that we didn't put out, we were just doing practice, just to get the machine oiled, and to make sure that we were getting our momentum and stuff. And we finally started getting into it, and even in my head, I was like, man, this is working out. Why is everything going good right now with the podcast? I feel like it's really helping us as far as therapy and just being able to get somewhat of a message out there. We had a little protocol going. And then all of a sudden, everything just came to a stop because of a certain issue.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Personal therapy here.
But the last time that we had a podcast was...
It was in November 2019,
year. Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah. Right before Thanksgiving, if you remember. Because we had Thanksgiving and everything, and then just shit was hitting the fan.
It hit the fan in a big way. I mean, we've had ups and downs. I've had my ups and downs. I've had a lot of good shit, and I've had a lot of bad shit. But that's kind of just how the world is right now. That's the cycle we've been in. So if you want, talk about a little bit why the podcast, I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but why we stopped and what happened from that point to now, I guess. And if you, as clean as you can explain it.
Well, we just stopped because first of all, things were going on in my personal life, my relationship, things, you had things going on. I went through my breakup. It was the holidays. My partner went into another...
Explain it. I mean, if you want...
Went down another line, which is drug use, and
This was something that we had been talking about for a while already on the podcast, and in my head, he was clean. But there was a time during the podcast where we had a poker night, and... this was probably a week. Remember, were you there or were you?
No, I was in San Jose. Remember, I was helping my...
You were already in San Jose. Yeah, okay, so this was after that.
I went to San Jose to go help.
That's right.
And I thought do some stuff, and then things just went all out of hand.
Okay, now it's coming back because I remember him texting. He was just on his phone the whole night. He was really checked out mentally, and I remember that's when I noticed that something was wrong with your partner. This is who we're talking about. We're talking about Victor's partner. And the beginning of kind of the downward spiral of this whole situation.
For
of
myself,
everything, really.
Him, everything. That's so, everybody thinks 2020 is bad. Mine started in 2019, so.
Well, that was just the tip of the iceberg.
That was the very tip of that iceberg. And it just went boof, all the way down, sliding all the way down in circles down that iceberg,
Okay, we don't have to get into the whole drug use and everything, but we know that was a contributing factor to why... just one part of the puzzle why you this whole thing stopped and you ended up moving away. Because for a while we were in the same town and we were able to put this podcast together because of the close proximity that we were in. Yep. We were in traveling distance, and then long story short, he ended up moving down to San Jose, which was about how many hours from here? 4?
2.5.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
That
two
was
and a half,
4
almost
hours.
3.
Okay.
Well, okay, if I'm driving, then it's 2.5.
Long enough to not be able to do this on a weekly basis or even on a monthly
Yeah,
thing.
and then I didn't even have the equipment to do anything remotely. I mean, we just didn't have anything all set up for that, you know. And when all this shit was happening in my life, because I could sit here and tell my story. I can't even really touch bases on my partner's side of the story because that's his story to tell. But all I can say is that things weren't going right, and I noticed it, and I just kind of checked out of everything. We were trying to work on the relationship, but then things happened here and there, and accusations flew back and forth, which are understandable on both sides. But I feel like that was the gateway that just opened up the floodgates for him to go back and start using drugs. And to me, I wasn't going to sit around because I've been clean now this year for what 6 years and 3 months now, and I'm not going to have that around my life. I don't want it near me. I don't want to be around it. Nothing. So I made a choice to bounce. I had to bounce.
And that whole time that you were gone, I mean, you guys, I mean, obviously they don't know, but you guys had been separated for how long?
We had been separated for about 4 or 5 months, off and on, coming back and forth, doing our best to work it out.
No, but I mean, really, the relationship was pretty much over for that period of time because you guys
Oh
weren't
yeah,
anywhere near where your relationship was in the past as far as it being like in its prime. You know what I mean? Like it
yeah,
wasn't a healthy
exactly.
relationship.
Yeah,
So it was just kind of like broken communication, right? And you trying
yeah,
to make sure that he doesn't go off the deep end, essentially, right?
yeah. That's right. And dude, I love this guy. I mean, I love him with all my heart. I truly do. And it was just the choices and the things that he chose to do in the relationship. And I can't blame him 100% because I got to take responsibility for my own parts. But I wasn't going to tolerate anything. I was done with tolerations, and I had to skip out because I wasn't going to go through that anymore, especially drug use. I've been clean for so long, I'm not going back.
I agree. I agree with you on that, but without giving too much information away from like his side of the story, I could just say personally because I dealt with it too because I was one of those people that were there trying to be there for him, you included, while he was going through what he was going through. And I saw the downfall that you guys both had, and it impacted everyone's lives, like our family wise, you know what I mean? And without giving too much information away, I want to kind of just get into how it affected you, uh, how it ties into mental health and stuff like that. Because I know for me, it didn't trigger me or anything, but it was a big eye opener and stuff. And I had never seen him while he was in that state of mind before. I'd never seen him like that. I know his past and stuff. I don't really want to talk too much about it because, like you said, I don't feel like it's
It's not
fair.
our story to
Yeah,
tell.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
not fair for me to give that kind of information away about somebody else's life. All I feel like I can do is give my side of the story
That's
on
the
it.
only thing we could do is tell our story.
And for you, so we're just trying to cut to the chase, basically. Like, so long story short, that happened. Okay, he
Yeah.
went. Whatever happened happened. 3 months down the road, 4 months, you're doing your own thing in San Jose.
Yeah, I was doing my own thing. Of course, I went through my little bit of depression stage. I was working my ass off, doing Lyft, doing a bunch of driving. I was dedicated to my book, writing my book, setting up my programs for my Dig Deep journey, and everything kind of just shit hit the fan in February. Well, actually, in January when my aunt that I'm really really close to, she passed away, and then after that, a week later, we started hearing about COVID. So my company that I was driving with is like, hey, use precautions, get all this other stuff. There's a little bit of a flu going around. And then boom, everything was shut down and I couldn't drive anymore. So there goes my income. And then I don't know if you remember at that time, but they drivers couldn't really have unemployment.
Oh yeah, there was only a certain amount of people who qualified for
Yeah.
like or fell under the certain guidelines that allowed you to qualify for unemployment, which was that was a whole situation in
Yeah.
itself. But so yeah, I mean, it was really a slow burn that just turned into a
Fucking
wildfire. No pun. I mean,
wildfire.
look at the
Everything's
what's
going
going
on
on
right
right now.
now.
All these
Yeah.
fires and stuff. I mean, what it's September 15th. So I mean, it's been a while
And it's
since.
smoky
So yeah,
outside.
it started off with that leading up. So it started off with that leading up to COVID, and then all your personal issues that you had. So needless to say, there was a lot on your mind. There was a lot. That's just your side of the story. I
Yeah,
mean,
those
how
are
much?
life cards. You know, we get hit with life cards all the time. You know, but I've been hit with life cards plenty of times throughout my life, dealing with my schizophrenia, dealing with my drug abuse, dealing with, my ADD, depression, all this bullshit. But I've learned and I've grown to kind of straighten my life out, kind of walk this certain walk with my life and learning how to deal with these life cards that come my way. Because in the end, there's really nothing we could do. People in our life are going to die. They're gonna die. There's nothing we could do about it. I could either sit there and whine and cry about it. I shouldn't really say whine. I could sit there and really feel depressed about the situation that happens, or I could just inhale deeply and say, "Hey, this is life. Life threw a life card at me. I have to continue going because if you don't continue going, you're just going to stay stagnant in that depression in that area of your life and it's ugly. It's like getting stuck in the mud and never being able to pull yourself out of that.
But with all the shit that was going on and everything, it definitely affected you though, right?
Oh yeah, oh
Like
hell
big
yeah, it
time.
did. Big time. And especially
Because the quarantine, I mean, obviously people know, but quarantine for somebody with mental health issues, it's not like a good combination.
oh no,
So I don't know how it affected you.
oh big time, man. In fact, suicides went up.
Yeah, well, they went up a lot.
Yep.
After you explain like how you like dealt with it and everything, I'd like to maybe get my side of it too. Because I mean, I was on a whole nother spectrum dealing with our own stuff over here on this side too.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be easily a fucking 4-hour podcast, but I mean,
We could chop it up.
yeah, we could we could chop it up. But how did I mean? What did you do to like deal with it when everything first started going down after your relationship? I know you kind of just the relationship thing. It is what it is, and you kind of have to do what you do, and you know, gather your positive thoughts and move forward, and just kind of it is what it is, and just start living your life because you can't wait for somebody,
Yep.
you can't let them hold you down, vice versa.
That's right.
But that was just like the tip of the iceberg, dude. Like so. All this shit started happening with COVID, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you're unemployed now. So I mean, what are you doing like in the meantime? Like
You know what? It's
mentally,
funny.
where you at? And like,
It's funny because I started getting really depressed. I have a car payment.
Remember you just bought the car,
yeah, I had
too.
bought the car that same weekend that we had split up.
what are the? Come on, dude. I mean,
Yeah, well,
couldn't get any worse.
that
It
same
could,
weekend,
but-
remember when we had split up? I was like, "Fuck that!" Oh, it was my birthday. That's right. That Monday was my birthday, and he was out doing his binge or whatever he was doing. And dude, he never told me happy birthday. Nothing that fucking hurt me. Which whatever. So I was like, "Fuck that!" I'm gonna go look at the cars and just walk around. I went to the car dealer. I was talking to the guy out there, and I was like, "Yeah, it's my birthday. I'm gonna just see what I could do for myself." And then, dude, we went for a ride in my car, my Nissan, and we're driving around. And I just spilled my guts because I didn't really talk to anybody. And he was like, "Oh, dude, that's crazy." And he was like, "Oh man, you want to go have a beer or something? I'll buy you a beer for your birthday." And I was just like, "Oh, really?" I ended up buying the car, and went out, had a beer for my birthday, and he called his girlfriend up. "Hey, I'm gonna go have a beer with this guy who just got a car." And so we did that, and then I went back home, and I was like, "Fuck that! I'm leaving." And I packed up my stuff, and I went to San Jose to stay with family. And I'm very very fortunate. I'm so grateful for my cousin, who's like my sister, to take me in for that amount of time. And she was dealing with her own shit. Her mom, which is my aunt, was sick, and they just had a baby that was preemie, and her, it was just all crazy in her own life, but she still accepted me in, and gave me a place to stay and fed me. And even when I lost my income from driving, she never asked me for a dime. She never asked me for one dime. And I'm forever grateful for that. You know, it's
So
awesome.
so you bought your car, and you were like all hyped up because it had been a while since, because you were driving that truck.
Yeah.
But then you got unemployed because they weren't allowing people to drive,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
then,
what were you doing within the time that everything happened? So like, all right, so they announced you were hearing things about the flu's going around and this and that. Some people were buying things, some people weren't. But then Trump, on, I forget what date I have it. I took a picture of it on the TV when they announced the national emergency.
history.
Yeah, I should have like filmed it or something like that, but I have a picture of it. It just says Trump declares national emergency.
Yeah.
And
A little too late.
I remember
even though
me
he
and Myra
already-
were just both sitting in there. We were like stuck on the news for like 2 weeks straight, just every day, because it was so rapidly changing. Everything
Yeah.
was different. So it was like you were glued to the TV and everything was just
It was like
crazy.
a movie.
What were you doing though when all this shit went down? Were you
Glued to the TV like everybody else, watching the numbers go up and watching that and saying, okay, what am I going to do? And then starting about a month later, I started, okay, my car payment's due. Shit, my credit cards are due. Like, fuck, what
but
am I going to do,
they had
man?
yet to put any like protection in place yet. It was too early into the process. So you were still expected to pay your rent and your car payments.
Yeah. But fortunately, my car payment people, dude, I called them right away. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be a little late. This is what I do for work, and this is what's happening. Dude, they were like all working with me and everything. They straight up helped me out a lot, and they deferred my car payments 3 times. And they said, hey, if you're still having issues, call us back and we'll defer it again. We'll defer
fuck
it again.
Geico. I don't fuck with Geico. I still have Geico, but I tried calling them when everything went down too, because I was paying my monthly fees and shit.
Yeah.
And they're like the best they could do was like postpone it, but I was still expected to pay. I was like, they didn't work with me, dude.
No, they worked with me.
Nah, they didn't work with me. Maybe it's just me the way I approached it. But anyway, yeah.
My car company for the loan, I don't know if I can mention Westlake Financial, but they helped me out a lot. And then I called Geico after, and Geico actually did help me. So that's kind of weird that maybe it was who you were talking to.
Yeah, I don't know. It was whoever. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But so you guys were glued to the TV too, right? Did you guys
yeah.
did you guys go through the panic buying?
You know,
Remember when? Oh, remember because there was a point where everyone was like, "Dude," because no one knew what was gonna happen. In my head, and in a lot of people's heads, they thought, "Okay, they're gonna shut down, and they're gonna do a shelter in place." But I had never been through that, and I didn't really understand the definition thoroughly of what that meant.
yeah.
So in a
same
lot
here.
of people's heads, they were like, "Okay, well, if you can't leave your house, how are you gonna get food?" Because everyone was under the impression that when they shut it down, you can't go nowhere.
Yeah,
you
that's
can't do
what I
anything.
thought.
So that's why people were afraid that they were going to shut down and it was just going to be a domino effect and you weren't be able to get
That's why everybody
food or
went out
water.
and bought all that toilet paper and stuff.
Yeah, so
Right
it
off
was,
the
dude, it
shelves.
was like, really, toilet paper?
Yeah.
There was nothing on the shelves because I was one of the people that was out there panic buying.
Yeah.
And as you know, like I was doing my music production and recording to make money at the time, and luckily business was like going well. And I remember having my last session and talking to whoever I was talking to about it when everything was going on, because my friend, he had already went and bought toilet paper and water and like food and stuff like that, and I hadn't prepared for it yet. I was just kind of waiting to see what was gonna happen. And I remember, luckily, everything was going well, and I had racked up enough money to where if I did spend, $500 on food and water and whatever, I was gonna be okay. So that's exactly what I did. I was one of the people though, but there was a time where, there was nothing on the shelves. There was no meat.
No.
There was no toilet paper. There was no canned foods. There was no soups. It was basically all the shit that, like,
You know what? That's when I first finally realized that they actually had soaked peanuts on the shelf. 'Cause
yeah, you
that's
started
that's
seeing all the stuff.
The stuff that you never seen before. Yeah, it's like, what the hell are soaked peanuts? And what do you use those for? Saw the shelf was full of those because I don't know if anybody knew how to use those.
Everything was gone. All the baking stuff was gone. You couldn't find baking. What is it? You couldn't find flour. You couldn't find any of that stuff. So I remember like having to time it out because, Usually there's a Winco right here and it's 24 hours. They shut the 24-hour thing down.
Oh yeah.
They were only allowing a certain amount of people in and they were opening at a later time. So I remember having for like a week straight, having to like time my days. Like I need to get up as early as I can. As soon as they open, try and be first in line so I can get in. And I went and one of the days I woke up and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning to go get groceries. I got my money, I put on my stuff. And this was pre-mask. Nobody had a mask on. So it was like the worst time that you could be around people if the virus was in our area. Luckily, it wasn't at the time. And everybody's heads it was.
Yeah.
So I was panicked, dude. I was like, this doesn't seem smart. Like,
you're going out and I hope I don't get sick.
yeah, because no one has a mask on. And I was like flying through the aisles, man. I was not trying to hang out. But I went and the line was backed up. It was like, you guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about because you've seen the line.
Listening probably knows.
The line was huge. I got in pretty quick, but I remember blowing like 3 or 4 times, like $200 on food and water. I had so much. Big old thing of beans, dude. 25 pounds bag of beans, 25-pound bag of rice. I got all kinds of soups, like just everything you could think of. I panic bought. Like I did it to the like.
I was thinking too in my own head.
Dude.
I was like, "Hey, this is it. This is the end. This is right here. This is zombie apocalypse right here."
I wasn't sure what it was. That's why I was buying. I didn't want to come home and have my fiance and her sister looking at me like, well, how come there's no, if something does go down, I don't want them to starve.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be able to provide and make sure that we had some shit to eat. Long story short, I ended up getting enough stuff that we're still like, we have enough today. There's still the bags left over. Stuff we still haven't eaten. Like if you went in there, like when it was prime, like in the beginning, I had so much stuff. This whole wall right here was like full of food.
Damn.
And everything. It was a lot. And then, I don't know. It was insane. We weren't sure. And then for like a month straight, we were cooking. We were doing nothing but cooking and everything.
Yeah.
It hadn't affected me though, mentally. I mean, as far as like depression and stuff goes, it didn't really affect me in that way. But I mean, I was scared, like just because we were ignorant. We didn't understand what the hell this was or how it was gonna. Because they made it seem like, dude, you were gonna die for sure if you were gonna get it.
Oh yeah. That's what. That's what. And I was thinking that too. Like, shit. I hope I don't want to go nowhere. I want to make sure you got it. And then you can even find sanitizer anywhere. Lysol,
that's a whole nother thing.
You still can't find Lysol.
No, you can find the wipes barely, but sanitizer, luckily, you can find it.
Now you can, yeah.
But in the beginning of this whole thing, people were trying to sell that shit for
I know
$300.
Price gouging, yeah,
for like a little thing of sanitizer. I was like, dude, this is insane. I remember, on my last recording session that I had, going to Walmart before I went to the session, I was like, oh, let me pick up some hand sanitizer for the studio. And I was totally ignorant. Like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know it was that bad. I walked into the store, went to the section where you would get it. Nothing was there. I was like, that's
People
weird.
were even stealing them from cars, breaking into cars just to steal that.
Yeah, I know. I remember telling my girl, like, don't leave it in the, don't leave it visible in your car. Like, bring that with you because they'll take it. But I remember walking into the store, they didn't have it. And then I went, like, to the other side of the store. But as I was walking to the other side of the store, I remember seeing people's carts, like, just toilet paper and water. I was like, what's going on? Like, why is there only... That's kind of weird, but I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Until maybe like a couple days later. And I guess these people just kind of got the memo quicker than the rest of us. But that's when you slowly started seeing everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, long story short, dude, like, okay, so we're a month into quarantine. And then they just kept extending it.
Yeah.
They just kept extending it and extending it and extending it. But
I expected that though, because I just, after the first month, I was like, no, they can't just do it for a month. It's a virus, man. It's gonna go a little longer.
I remember Peter asked me, how long do you think this is gonna go? And I said 6 months.
Yeah.
Easy. And he was kind of like, nah. But that's where people's heads were at the time. They didn't understand the totality of this situation.
And a lot of people still, this is what, more than 6 months later, and a lot of people right now still are going out because they don't understand the severity of what's going on out there. So you hear about all these college kids right now, partying and stuff and without masks. And it's crazy. To me, a lot of people don't want to wear masks. That's okay if you don't want to wear a mask, but you know what? Don't come around me. To me, wearing a mask is kind of like having car insurance. It doesn't mean you're going to get sick. Having car insurance doesn't mean you're going to get into an accident, but you have it there as a precaution. So that's what my mask is. It's like it's a precaution just in case.
Well, at the same time, you're gonna do what you got to do just to make sure if you care, about because you're gonna be around people. But I think a big part of the reason why people didn't want to wear masks and they were reluctant is because people in general, it's natural for us to not like to be told what to do.
Yep.
We don't like to be told what to do, and I don't either. But if it's like a life or death type of thing, I'm just gonna bite the bullet. Like, I know I don't like you telling me not to do this or to do that, but at some point you kind of gotta shut your ego off.
Yeah.
And, it is what it's because I was listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and somebody I forgot who had this analogy, but they were like, it should be your choice if you want to be safe or not.
Yeah.
It's like people do what is it the NASCAR and shit, and they know what they're risking, right? The problem with that is that, you can make your own decision and you can drive that car 200 miles an hour. And if you crash, that's on you. The problem is with this thing is that if you catch it, it's like driving that NASCAR right into the crowd and wrecking a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
You're taking that car and you're driving it right in the crowd. Now you're affecting other people. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
So it's slippery. It's like, they shouldn't be able to tell us what to do with our own bodies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I want to be safe, I'll be safe. But the problem is, you're affecting other people's lives now.
That's right.
Because if I don't know how I'm going to react to it, and you don't know how you're going to react to it. It's totally different.
Like they said, there was some woman in her 90s that caught it and she was healthy, and then there was some girl in her 31, she caught it and she passed away. So you don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to react to you or your body. But that's the thing. People, I think, were getting frustrated of being inside and being enclosed. And that's a form of mental illness. I was already feeling depression because of my breakup. I was already feeling depression because of that. Then I lost family members. And so I had, feeling my depression, getting through it. And then COVID came, my car payment, my bills were due. So I got worse and worse and worse. And I'll lie if I told you that I didn't one time or a few times think like maybe I should just boom. Because I did.
Kill yourself?
Oh, yeah. I thought about it. I've thought about it several times.
In your head, you were like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah, like, what else? But
to get serious, how close were you?
Honestly, I was pretty close. I was just like, this is fucking, this sucks. I don't want to deal with this anymore. But
mental fucking hell, dude. That just goes straight back to that.
But I remembered of all the shit in my whole past that I've gone through. I escaped my ex, that I'll say Nate.
That's not his real name, but he's given a
Nick.
Fake name.
Nick. So, we'll call him Nick.
Whatever. It is what it is.
So, I was dealing with that and I had PTSD because of that. And I was always afraid of going out, because I was afraid I was going to get killed. He was going to come after me again, whatever. And when I started to reflect back on all those situations and remember the reason why I stopped being afraid. And that reason was I could get into an accident today. I could leave here today, go on my way home and get slammed by another car. And then boom, my life is over, And there were times that I used to wish that would happen, but it's that valley that we go through, and that valley of trials and tribulations that we have to walk through. Life is going to life is going to throw life cards at us, and it's how we play that deck.
You got pretty close to it, but this is all the stuff that was like going through your mind and stuff to prevent you from doing that. Yeah,
I said shit. I've come this far in life. I've come this far.
You don't want to give up. Obviously,
no, I can't. There's I have too much to offer the world.
Did you notice that though? Like, okay, us being the way we are, especially me, I feel like pre-COVID, I was a recluse anyway.
Yeah.
Were you? Or were you a people person? Like,
no, I'm people person.
Did you need your company, and did you need to like be social and stuff like that?
I needed to be social. Most of my life I was reclusive. I was always holding myself in, didn't want to be out there because I was always afraid of being judged. What are they going to say about me? What are they going to say about how I look, how I sound, whatever it was. Now at this point in my life, I could give a fuck who
You
thinks
just got
what.
over it at a certain point.
Yeah, you just get over it.
For me personally, I was always a recluse. I didn't really have. I mean, I got social anxiety and stuff, and I feel like I'm socially awkward in certain situations, so I try to avoid it. I'm easily triggered. I mean, that's just it is what it is. I got bipolar disorder, and I got a number of things that make me a puzzle piece that just doesn't fit into the bigger picture. Like I just don't fit into that picture, you know. So I naturally I like to stay home. This is where I'm most comfortable, and not because in a way I'm a little bit afraid to go out sometimes because I know my tempers and stuff like that. But long story short, I like to stay home. I spent a lot of my time just kind of being a recluse. There was only a certain amount of people I had talked to. You know, I mean, my fiance, you, Peter, my mom, and, you know, a handful of people.
Yeah.
And it's not like I was out seeing these people every day other than the person I live with. So regardless, like with all that going on, I spent a lot of time alone by myself in this apartment and the other apartment, wherever I was at, because of how I am, I was always unemployed because of the shit that I have going on. So I was always by myself. So when this COVID thing happened and they were saying we had to stay home, I was like, dude, I had been in training for a long time already. Like last year, I had been in a flight
Like I got this.
What is it? A flight or fight response?
Yeah, fight or
that
flight
whole
response,
year.
yeah.
Remember when I got in like really good shape and I was living like I was locked up already. So when this whole thing happened, it was like, dude, this is a breeze to me. Like, and I started noticing how quickly the world was living because of how fast people got cabin fever.
Oh yeah.
That shit set in. I noticed it in people after 2-3 weeks. It hadn't even been a month, and that's when you started seeing people going out and having these parties and stuff, and refusing to wear masks and this, and you started seeing people out, and you were like, dude, I knew people weren't gonna last. Like, this shit ain't gonna work if nobody wants to quarantine. Nobody. I remember numerous occasions going to put gas or something like that, or just because we needed groceries or whatever, going out and thinking to myself, quarantine? What a joke, dude. Like, this is a joke. Nobody's taking this serious. Why are they calling it that? Like, I felt like people just wanted it to say it just like to be cool or something like that, pretending like they were like really locking down. Like nobody was doing that. It just put it in perspective to me, like how different I was from this world and like how fragile people really were.
Yeah.
The fact that they couldn't even be alone in their own house for an X amount of time. Like people couldn't do it. People's true character really started coming out.
Oh yeah.
And even, I mean, you saw how it affected people's relationships.
Oh, big
like
time.
Marriages started falling apart. Not mine. I mean, I've had my like up until since quarantine started. Where it started in what, February?
Yeah. March.
March.
Yeah.
To up until what, September. I barely now started maybe seeing a couple of repercussions from us spending too much time together, but I still bounced back like that. You know, I mean, there was a period of time on top of my depression where it just kind of got a little bit rocky, but it was something that I was able to work through with her. But and like
it's working through those problems, you know.
But in like the grand scheme of things, I just didn't feel an effect as far as like the quarantine goes. I felt like I handled the lockdown pretty well just because that's who I already was. You know, I was already used to spending all kinds of time by myself and alone. But it was really, really interesting to see the world just stop for a month and then 2 months.
Yeah. You know, I was doing pretty good. I was doing pretty good, even though I'm social. But then...
So I wanted to get into that.
Then George Floyd happened.
Yeah,
you know?
yes.
And to me, and you know me already, I'm with people. I do my best to help people. And then after that happened, if anything pissed me off more than anything. And you know, I was talking about Aubrey before that, and I was posting stuff about that. And I was, you know, after Floyd, and then people started really coming out, and I couldn't stay home after that. I was like, no, this is bullshit, you know.
Did you go rally?
Yeah, I went in San Jose and I rallied, yeah.
Which that's fine. You got to do what you got to do. But
you had, and then that's when I first figured out when I saw these other people that were in the rally starting to push protesters into cops. I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing, man? What's going on? And then that's when I started to realize that there's another set of people that are. It's like so much shit is going on in this world right now.
I feel like we're a little late on these topics to the party.
Yeah,
because we haven't been able to do a podcast since a while. It's been a while since we've been able to get together and actually do this.
Honestly,
and I know a lot of podcasts are way past these topics and stuff. Yeah. So we're kind of just.
But this is a conversation with Floyd and Black Lives Matter that should never ever stop.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, this is stuff we haven't even covered yet. So yeah. I know you've heard it on other podcasts and stuff, but this is the first time that you and I have been able to talk about it with each other, or the first time I've been able to talk about it with anybody, really. So we're kind of just trying to get all the stuff that had went on up into this point
today, yeah.
And yeah, so the George Floyd thing, dude. So
yeah, that's one thing.
It trumped the coronavirus for what a couple weeks, right?
No, for like about a month or so, and then I started.
And all
of
a sudden, everybody forgot about Corona, and then it was about this thing.
Yeah, and then now people are starting to forget about this and about now Floyd. Because not really.
I know what's the issue now. All these fires,
the fires, and not only that, but elections here.
Oh yeah, dude, it's almost like the perfect storm. Like the way if somebody did set it up as a chess move, it was like, all right, virus, let's do this George Floyd thing. What would you call that? Yeah. Like a racist injustice, racial injustice.
Racial injustice, right there. Yeah, that's exactly on point.
And then natural disaster, these wildfires, and then now the presidential election. Yep. It's like, dude, a domino effect. It's just like doom, 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 and not to mention the unemployment rate.
Oh
like
yeah,
all
shit. It's the worst.
For a while though, if you did get unemployment, people were making more money than they were actually making them at work.
Yeah, but it
was an insane. Like everything just changed, dude. It started raining upward.
But it's
like
necessary
the world was just
though,
flipped
because a lot
down.
of people aren't out there and they can't. Look at the travel industry. That took one of the biggest hits. Those are people that are still not able to work, and they rightfully should still keep getting that income, the income that they were losing out on, and things are happening. And I know that they're trying to fight over making it right, and they don't want to give as much money as they're giving because they feel like they're making people stay home if they're carrying them money. But you want people to stay home right now.
Well, you need the economy. The only problem with that is the inflation. That was the only problem with this whole situation. Yeah. They're still trying to calibrate it. Like it's just no one was prepared for this in any kind of way when they should have been.
Yep.
Who was telling who had been trying to put together?
Well, during the Obama's administration, they put together some stuff. They even gave Trump a package.
Well, no, they were putting money into like the World Health, Organization, into fighting something like a possible coronavirus.
Yeah.
They had been putting, but somebody shut it down though, right? I'm so freaking like.
It's just there's so much going on. That's why.
No, I'm not recalling like certain facts right now, but there was they had put money into something like this just in case it ever happened, and people weren't paying attention, and they were like, "Why are we gonna put money into something like this? This ain't gonna happen." And then, because there were certain people who were calling it out. Like, this is going to happen. Watch. It's just a matter of time before a virus like this actually presents itself and something's going to go wrong.
It's the Darwin theory.
But needless to say, though, we weren't prepared. So, like, them trying to, like, distribute an X amount of money to all the Americans, it was like, it's a hit or miss. Like, they're going to get it right. They're going to get it wrong. They got it wrong because they gave people too much money, and now they're trying to give them way too less.
Yeah,
and it's like it's been hard to find a balance.
Yeah,
and it just threw everything off. So like it's been just a gigantic roller coaster of emotions and the situations, disasters. Like oh my god, dude.
Yeah, and then right after George Floyd, I was in contact with my ex, and my ex finally called me back.
Does someone know about this? He does? Do you want to talk about that? Are you sure?
Yeah. I got to call back to take him to rehab.
No, I know,
but my part of the story.
But is this going to affect your relationship?
if it does, then if the truth affects the relationship, then that's, I don't think it will.
I just don't want you to tell me information. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. But I just don't want to be obligated to feel like I'm hiding something from somebody.
Oh, no. Don't worry about that. No.
You know?
No. He called me to take him to rehab. And I love this guy, so of course
Oh, we're talking about.
what who I'm not no hoe.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're telling me
No.
something that
No,
you're talking to an ex of yours while you're with.
No.
That's what I'm. No, you're just going down the timeline. Okay, I'm okay. That's why I was like, all right, look, I don't want you to tell me shit, and I'm obligated to feel like I got to tell somebody.
No.
But it's not in my nature to speak out of position,
No. Your cousin called me.
Okay.
and wanted to go to rehab, and so I went up to a situation and I said, okay, I'll do it. I love you enough. I told you that if you ever want to stop, that I will be here for you, but you have to be serious about it. So I drove all the way back down here, took him to rehab, then started staying with him for a couple weeks because of COVID. There's loops that you have to draw through, la la la. And I started to talk to him more, and we started to work it out. And then he wanted to see his mom, so we drove down to Southern California, and we stayed down there for a few days. And I had some business to take care of in Texas. And lately, I was thinking about moving out of California because everything's all fucked up here, and I was thinking a lot about Florida.
This is definitely a long story short, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parts missing, but I don't want this shit to be too scattered. So
No.
Keep going.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Why don't we just go to Texas?" I'm like, "Damn!" During COVID, he was like, "Screw it, let's take every precaution we can." So we made a quick decision to travel to Texas and stopping here and there, and we had Lysol, we got more cans of Lysol we found, and had plenty of sanitizer. We're buying masks like crazy, so we have different masks that we could change out and wash and all this stuff. And then,
Speaking of that, though, when you were protesting, did you go and get a test afterwards or no?
no, I didn't.
No?
No, I didn't feel sick or nothing. So
I know, but still,
but yeah.
for your family's sake. I would have
Yeah,
been mad
no,
if you were living with me.
No,
and
no.
you went out to go protest and you came back in the house. I was like, dude, that's like how you get it. If you want
Yeah,
it,
I know.
go protest. Like that definitely
Yeah.
impacted the spread. It had to have. There was how many people? It
Yeah,
was a
well,
lot of people.
Actually, I had quarantined myself.
Well, there you go. I mean,
I quarantined myself because if I went out and
but you were in
to do
another wing
this,
of the house, weren't you?
Yeah, so I quarantined myself and did all that.
I hate cutting you off, but there's just so much stuff to cover because prior to this podcast right now, I wasn't engaged.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
right.
I hadn't
That's
even had a
right,
ring to give. So
finally, you put a ring on it because she
No.
said you better put a ring on.
prior to the whole COVID thing, my fiance's birthday is February 26th. This happened March 1st.
Yeah, around
This
the first
whole
week of
thing
March.
happened.
Yeah.
So we threw her a 30th birthday party on the 29th. And that's when I proposed to her. So a couple weeks, maybe a month, 3 weeks prior to that, leading up to it, I was planning my engagement.
That's
But
what
this was in the
happened.
midst of you and my cousin going through what you guys were going through.
Yeah,
so I
that
had
was
no
in-
contact
the
with you
in-between,
guys.
Yeah.
I wish, dude, if I
No,
would have
I
had
would
it,
talk to you. Remember
a
when
little
I was
bit, though.
working, we'd talk back and forth.
you called me a couple times and I was happy to hear from you. But
Yeah.
my cousin was in a state of mind where even if I wanted him to come or you guys to come and be a part of that, it wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't in
Yeah,
the
it
cards.
wasn't,
And
yeah.
it sucked because I wanted all the people I cared about to be there. And there was only a handful of people there.
Oh man.
But
thank
no, but
you.
that's the way it is.
Thank you.
That's the way it is though.
Yeah.
I prior to this podcast, I wasn't engaged, dude.
No,
That's
you
how much
weren't.
shit has changed since from then to now.
I think that's what
everything
happened,
is
though.
different.
That's-
There was a
that's-
shift, a paradigm shift.
That's exactly what happened. You proposed, and then God said, "Okay, we're gonna really test your ass.
No.
You're gonna stay with her in the house for about 5 or 6 months."
But when this shit
see
happened,
if it lasts.
was the happiest day of my life. And I almost thought, this is too good to be true because her birthday went as planned. She was surprised as she could have ever been. She said yes. It was beautiful. It was everything. If you've seen the video, you've seen the pictures, I'll show you. everything went perfect. Me being the scatterbrain that I am, I mean, I've always wanted to marry her. Not since I met her, but, obviously you grow to that point. But, like, it had been a thought in my head for a while. I was manic. I got my income tax. I spent it on what I spent it on. And it was totally out of the blue. I didn't even mean to do it. I was like, dude, like, fuck it. I'm going to go for it. That's how I am.
Yeah.
I've always been that way with everything. Everything went perfect. And I was like, this is too good to be true. And then this whole thing happened.
I knew it.
So what had happened, right? I proposed. She said yes. My family was there on my mom's side. What I wanted to do was that following day, she had a ring for one day. It didn't fit her. I gave it to her. She looked at it. She wore it a little bit. It was too big. The next day was like a Saturday or something like that, or a Sunday. Went to Joanne's house, and my aunt showed everybody. No. We went to the mall first to get it resized. Took it to the mall. Got it resized. We were all excited. Everyone was excited. Like, it was like the news because nobody in my family had gotten married or proposed to in a very long time. Took it to the mall. Dropped it off so they can resize it for her. Measured her finger. Went to Joanne's. Talked about it. I showed him the proposal video of like me getting down on one knee and everything. And then we had planned to do a barbecue on each side of my family to celebrate the engagement. So we were going to do a barbecue on Joanne's side, on my dad's side, to celebrate. And we had the date planned and everything. And then my mom's side, we were going to do the same thing. And then all of a sudden,
boom.
It was the headline news of our engagement. And I was like, dude, this is perfect. This is our time to shine right now. Like, everything is like, it's working
COVID
out.
Took the place.
Trumped it. Completely forgot about it. Joanne called, understandably, and we had to cancel the engagement party. Everything just completely, she didn't get to see her ring. The mall shut down. She didn't even get her ring for like 4 months after I gave it to her. She only had it for one night.
What?
She only had it for one night. And then everything completely, like, it was almost like I didn't even have an engagement. Like, it just completely got erased because of everything. And understandably,
It's all right.
it'll never be the same. But unless we go to have a wedding or something. But I mean, yeah, that's how like serious everything got. And like you said, like, I don't know if it was like a test or what, but something felt like it was too good to be true, and then all of a sudden everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
Not between us, but in the world.
But
obviously that's going to affect us. And I felt like we passed with flying colors. I mean, that's one of the reasons
both
why
still alive.
One of the reasons I proposed to her is because I knew how mentally strong she was, especially to deal with somebody like me. She's just on a whole different level. She balances me out, And through this whole COVID pandemic thing, I got to see even more of that. Just more of why, and I just feel lucky. You know what I mean? I feel really lucky to be in the situation that I'm in, because it could be a lot worse. But that's how much have changed. So prior to this podcast, I hadn't been engaged yet, and so much has changed with you, and so much has changed with me, and I just feel like evolutions have happened. Like, I was a different person, and now I'm another different person. Like, I changed again because of all this stuff. But
all this time, we're still dealing with our mental illness.
But can I get into that real quick?
Yeah,
not real quick, because we're 50 minutes in. We usually only do an hour, but I'll say what I'm going to say, and wherever it leads us. And if you want to continue. I'm not going to cut you off. I had always had a specific view on the world prior to COVID. And my view of the world was, I was a recluse, and I didn't really fuck with anybody because of how I am. And I feel like people in general, like, they're naturally selfish, and that's just in our DNA, Yeah. That's just how the human is and how the mind works. We're gimme, and it's all about me, and we've refused to see the perspective from a different that person's point of view. And it always disgusted me, like, I hate how people are, and I've never fucked with people. But when this pandemic happened, it just kind of solidified that for me, and it made it even worse. And it put me in this mind state of like, I really, really, really do not fuck with anybody, and fuck everybody. I fucking I hate people even more now, and it sucks, and I'm being honest. I don't want to be this way, dude, but it's like I only want to fuck with my fiance and a handful of people.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for these people, I'm on the same page as you were, bro, of what you mentioned earlier. I really wish I could do it, but like whatever, I couldn't put that pain on her, you know what I mean? I couldn't put that pain on my mom. I couldn't put that pain on the people that care about me. But this whole pandemic just, it sucks, but it's like, dude, everything is like shit in my eyes. Like I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Just the other day I was gonna go get a tattoo that says not a human, because I've always felt like I'm not supposed to be here. Like I don't feel like I'm part of this world. Like I'm here, but I feel like it was an accident. Like I'm not supposed to be a human, because that's not the way my mind operates. I just feel like there's so much more that we could be giving to each other, and things could be like so much better than what it is. And if everybody was just like, stop the bullshit and we can just all get along, then everything would be okay. But that's not the way it is. And it just makes me hate everyone.
Yeah.
That's
understandable.
And I know that not everyone's like that, because there are people in the world that you come across every now and then that remind you like there is still some good left in the world. And those are the people that I wish there were more of. And the people that, how come there's not more of you? Like, how come, but every now and then you'll come across those people. But the majority of people aren't like that. Everyone is like, they want to kill each other.
Yep.
I mean, prior to this, I never had a handgun, and I never had a shotgun. When all this shit happened, I got my shit real quick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got my shit real quick, dude. And a part of the reason I never owned a gun was because of my mental health issues. I didn't want to be tempted to pull the trigger. And still now, if I wanted to, I could just go in that room, load it up, and lights out.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I felt like that a lot more lately. Like I really wanted to just fucking blow my brains out, dude, because of everything going on. Like why am I going to be here if I'm not enjoying it, Like there's no point other than my fiance. Like I don't know if that is enough though. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
But it's not, still fuck the world, At the same time.
Yeah.
Like I'm holding on for like this much. Like this is the only thing keeping me here. And it's like, at the end of the day, is that enough to be alive? And I feel, dude, I'm like almost convinced like this is like hell. Like there has to be a better place than this afterwards. This place sucks.
It does.
I don't mean to be a baby, but that's the realization of it.
It's what's real and what's going on. But you know what though? I used to think that way a lot, and it's really easy.
So you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really easy. And like I said, I felt like that several times. But the reason why I do hang on is because I know that even if the world doesn't improve, the world doesn't get better, I'm still that one person who could make a little bit of a better world. Even though if it doesn't happen, I'm still striving for it. I'd rather strive and strive and strive. And if I get COVID, like when I was traveling, we went all the way to Florida. Went all the way to Florida.
It's a miracle you guys didn't get it.
Yeah, we went all the way to Florida. Like I said, we're taking our precautions. We, of course, I wasn't being reckless either. We're doing everything we possibly can. Get a hotel room, spray down the door. Of course, the hotel rooms are no contact. They'll just slide your key in there. Everything's sanitized. Spray down the door with Lysol. Go inside, spray everything down with Lysol. We even went with the dogs.
What part of you makes you want to even help, though, knowing that the world is so fucked up? Like, why do you feel like it's your responsibility? Because there's only a certain amount of energy that you can give before you realize you're not going to get anything back. What makes you want to keep going and keep doing that? Because, yeah, I do my part, too. Like, I try not to be a piece of shit. Like, I try to do what's right all of the time. Every now and then I'm going to fuck up and I'm going to have my own personal flaws. But if I see somebody struggling, I can't help but feel empathy. Or if I see a homeless person, I can't help but hurt because of how fucked up the world is and, everything. Or if I see you guys need help, I can't help but lend a hand. But still, like, I feel like that's not enough to want to fix the world, because I know maybe it's just I
don't think I want
mentality.
It's not that of course I want to fix the world, but I know that I can't fix the world. But I'm here for whatever reason why I'm here. I could have exited a long ass time
Are
ago.
you doing it for yourself or some type of payoff? Is what I'm
No,
asking.
I'm doing this
Do
for
you
me.
feel like if you're gonna do these good things, you're gonna get a reward? Like,
No.
or are you just doing
which-
it because it's the right thing to do?
No, you know why I'm doing it? Because I'm here and I really don't know what is, if I do check out, I really don't know what's there. It could be nothing at all.
No one does.
And that gives me the strength to say, you know what? The world's fucked up. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be who I am. And if nobody likes it, fuck them. If nobody likes what I do, fuck them.
So
if
what,
nobody
like-
likes me, fuck them. If they don't like the way I look, dress, act, whatever it is, I'm living for me because nobody gives a shit about me in my life, my bills, or what I'm doing. I might as well do it. I might as well, instead of caring about what people are, and this is, for me, if instead of giving a shit about what anybody thinks or says, I'm here, I might as well enjoy the fuck out of my life and just do whatever I want, regardless of what anybody says. I need to enjoy my life. I'm here already. I'm going to take advantage of it.
But it's, in the grand scheme of things, the way you're thinking this way is because you're not sure if this will ever happen again, meaning your existence. You don't know if you'll ever get this chance again.
That's right.
I understand that. And I'm not trying to like talk you out of your way of thinking,
no.
obviously. I'm just trying to play almost devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, wouldn't you almost feel, and I'm sure you felt this way, like if you did check out, that it would almost be better?
I did. I thought about that before, and I thought about like checking out. But you know what though? I had the opportunity to travel during COVID and touch the water in San Diego and drive all the way through the United States through different weather and touch the water in Florida. And I fucking enjoyed it. It was beautiful. I never experienced anything like that in my life. I never even thought about doing that. I never even considered doing something like that. But you know what? I enjoyed the experience that life gave me, and I want to keep on enjoying that experience. And that's why I could give a shit about what anybody thinks about me.
So it just opened up your eyes to the possibilities of like you finally got out of your little town, your little city.
Yep.
And you got to see what else was out there, and you realized maybe that it's not just one little area. There's more parts to discover.
There's more parts to
See,
discover.
I'm all for that. My problem is that I just hate people.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we were out and we were.
So it's like, why am I going to go out of my way to travel to go see more people?
You don't do it for anybody.
But going back to what I was saying though, it's like there are still. I'm sure you met a lot of good people. Did you meet anybody?
Yeah, we met people here
I know
and
it's
there,
a different time, so it's gonna be like it's not like you guys
No,
go to a bar or go to a restaurant.
No, we ran into a lot of people. We ran into people that said, "Oh, you don't need to wear your mask." One lady, we were going to the beach just to go walk. We found a beach that hardly anybody was there, so we're like, okay, let's go walk over there. There's hardly anybody there. We could keep our distance over here. We're walking there, and some lady goes, "Take off your mask, enjoy the fresh air." And we're like, what? I turned around and I was like, I wanted to say something, but I was like, that's
Not
her
worth
choice.
it.
That's her dumbass choice, first of all. That's her dumbass choice.
Yeah.
And I could give a shit if she gets COVID or not. Not to be mean.
But it is what it is.
But if she cares less about herself,
why should you care?
then I'm here for me. I'm living my life for me, nobody else.
Yeah, it should be her choice. But like I said, the only problem with that is you're
She's
affecting
one who's-
other people.
Yeah, you're affecting other people.
You're not
But
helping.
That's why I'm taking my own precautions. And you know what? I feel like a lot of the times when I did want to check out, it's because of the way the world is, and it's because of the way people are and what they do. And then when I said, you know what, fuck everybody. If they don't give a fuck about me, I don't give a fuck about them either. And people could take it how they want. I'm only going to give a fuck about myself, what I'm doing in my own choices. And if there's somebody else who says, you know what, he's right, I like that. I like what he's saying. I like what he's doing. Then you know what, those people are going to be attracted to the way I am, how I am. And those are the right people, because if they're like me, then they love themselves.
Do you really though? Do you like really love yourself?
Dude, I love myself too much now. I love myself way too much now, especially this year through my experience, especially this year when I saw a family member just die right in front of my eyes.
That'll change your perspective too.
Yeah.
That'll definitely change it.
Yeah. And what I thought about was all the stuff, just a month before that, she sat with me and talked about her whole life and everything that she wanted to do in life and everything that she still wanted to do. It was all cut short. She didn't completely do what she wanted to do.
How old was she?
She was only like 62.
That's still like pretty
That's
young.
hella young. Yeah. And she could have gone on so much more longer. And that's another subject. That wasn't really her fault. It was actually neglect from the hospital's part, that the reason why she passed away.
Yo, that's crazy, because last night I was listening to a podcast and The Alchemist, he's a producer, was talking about how when his homie got hurt and he was in the hospital, there was a dude sitting next to him. He's like, he was saying that the hospital is not safe. That's where you go to die. And unless somebody's in there with your loved one 24/7 monitoring, you got to check up on these fucking nurses, because they're not going to be doing their job. Most of them, not to like put down any nurses that do their job 100%, but the whole thing that he was saying was like that's like, if you can, just avoid going there, because it's not a safe place. As ironic as it may seem, it's not the safest place.
No matter what.
Because there's been so many incidences where people have died in hospitals because they weren't being tended to correctly.
Even with family.
That's funny that you said that, though.
Even with family, nobody's going to take care of you as much as you're going to take care of you.
So I'm sure you were in there with her 24/7, as you should,
Oh, yeah. Her daughter was there all.
Did you have to remind the nurses and stuff?
Her daughter did. Her daughter was always my cousin.
Which is crazy, right?
Telling, hey, check this, check this, check this. And to top it off, they were in that mental attitude of, we know what we're doing. You don't know. You're not a nurse. You're nothing. She's like, no, but I know my mother. I know how my mother is. I know how my mother acts. Can you please check this? Can you check her blood?
Were they reluctant to do what she was saying?
Yes, they were. And that's the reason why she passed away, is because they didn't check what her own daughter was telling them to check. And see, that's what my point is. My point is, your life could end and it won't even be in your own hands. And there's so much that somebody wants to do that, boom, it could get cut short within a snap of a finger. And you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this life. And I'm not going to allow the opinions of anybody else to cut my life short. I'm not going to allow the opinions of anyone else, of what they say or think of me, to allow me to want to check out of this world, because this is my life. This is my fucking choice. And you know what? If I want to touch the water in Florida, even if I don't have a fucking dime in my account, I'll find a way to do it.
So do you feel like it's attitude, was your mentality towards the world? Because I feel like you've been through a lot. I've been through a lot too. But still, at the end of the day, we're two different people. Do you feel like the perspective that you have on life right now, just kind of like either you're built that way or you're not built that way? Because somebody else who doesn't have your personality and the way you think could have gone through the same things that you went through, but reacted and had a different perspective on the world than you do.
There's plenty of people who checked out already,
so
that
like
committed suicide because they weren't thinking the way I'm thinking now.
So maybe you're just a stronger person than most people, because somebody like me, I'm not saying I'm not strong, but my attitude is different. With going through everything that I've gone through, I'm still like, fuck everything. And honestly, a lot of times I pray, like, I wish somebody would just fucking shoot me in the head already, dude. Like, when I'm walking across the street, like, fucking hit me. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, I really do not care. That type of attitude, two different people. Do you think it's just one of those things where somebody can change? Or is it just like, you're like that or you're not?
No, I think, just speaking from my own experience, the reason why I would always want to check out is because I was always tired of the way the world was. And I was always blaming everything else for my own lack. I'm not saying you're lacking or nothing, but I was always blaming everything else for my own lack. When it really comes down to it, we can and we will achieve anything that we want to, because there's nothing in this world stopping us. The only thing that's stopping us is what we allow to stop us. Because if you really, really think about it, you could make a decision, but when you're thinking about making that decision, the first thing that used to pop into my head was, who is this going to hurt?
That's always the only thing that ever stops me. Always. Because usually all the time. I'm like, I just don't have the energy to even care anymore. I don't care. Like, even if it does make a difference, I don't care. But for me, that's only, I have to think about them at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know?
But there's two ways to think about them. So you got to think about them and how it's going to affect them and how it's going to affect their life. You could cause depression in their life.
Yeah, I
but
don't
no
want to wreck
matter
them.
what. Yeah, we will wreck people. But on the other hand, people will get over it and people have to move on with their
they
life.
do.
They have to move on with their own life. With or without you, whether you choose to check in or stay, no matter what happens, they have to move on with their own life. And eventually, we're always
Yeah,
forgotten
we're always
about.
forgotten.
We're just a speckle of dust. We're
Except
just somebody. We're just somebody who was just once here, and we're just a name in a book or a name on a rock.
But still, it doesn't make it right to, if you have the choice to put somebody through that. Because I would still, if, like, say I did it right, and I could look back at myself and see the pain on her eyes and my family's
your
eyes
family,
and
everybody.
watch them cry like that, I'd be like, I did that to them because I was a fucking bitch and I couldn't get my shit together and I wasn't strong enough mentally to move forward. You know,
Look,
that's what always keeps me going.
But there's there's honestly, and no matter who you are, what you believe in, there are two ways into this world. You got to be born, or two ways in and out of this world. One way into this world, one way out. You got to be born for sure, and the only other way out is death. Now, there's two possibilities when it comes to death. Two possibilities. There's either blackness and nothing at all. Boom, you're dead, and
which is scary too.
It's very scary. There's nothing, or there is something, and there is a spirit, there is a soul that could reflect back, that does go on. Those two possibilities are the one that reflects back. If we do check out on our own time and we look back and we could actually see the people that are hurting, that we could cause an actual mental illness in their own life, maybe that they never even had, but we could create it by checking out, that possibility still is, it's heartbreaking. Because how would you feel if that happened to, how would your mom feel? How would your fiance feel? How would I feel? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
you would reflect back and you'd be like, fuck, I fucking hurt them and I caused more mental.
That's the only reason I don't, dude. And I promise you when I tell you that, like, I picture vividly the amount of pain and basically just inconvenience that I'd be causing everybody, all because of I couldn't keep my shit together. But I'm not religious at all. I really, really hope, though, I mean, shit, that there is a better place than this and that one day I can be with the people, the family members and friends that I've lost over the years. Because the thought of leaving this world and leaving my fiance, or you leaving this world and leaving the ones that you love, is a hard thought to get over for anybody. And it's something it's hard to let go of, you know? I had a dream the other day. I woke up crying for the first time in a long, long time. And I wasn't like bawling, but I had tears in my eyes because I had a really, really vivid dream. And the whole dream was just me weeping over my dad and crying like uncontrollably in my dream because he had passed away. And remembering that there was a certain part that he took us to, me and my sister, when we were little kids when we moved here 19 years ago in 2001. I don't know how many years ago that is. 2001. He took us to this park and we had a little dog and we were just running around, dude, playing. Like, it was like in my mind when I was having that dream, it was like pure bliss, pure gold, like the most pure thing that you could ever possibly imagine, of like the most innocent, that's what it is. That's what fucking life is. And that's the purpose of why we're here. And I remember thinking to myself, I took advantage of that moment because I didn't realize what I had. And then going forward, I wasn't grateful for that. I didn't realize it till after it was gone. And in my dream, the whole time I was just crying like uncontrollably because I was so regretful that I didn't take those times that I had him in my life. I didn't take them as well. Like, I didn't take care of them like I was supposed to. I didn't appreciate them like I was supposed to. And I remember waking up though and I was like, fuck, dude, this is hella real. Because I got issues with that. Like I like even though I have a rocky relationship with my dad, like growing up and
Got
stuff.
daddy issues.
I guess, I mean, if you want to call it that, but I still have, he still has a place in my heart where it's not going to be easy for me. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It's going to be really hard. And that kind of like presented itself in that dream and stuff. And I woke up crying, but it was like,
because he was gone. And you know what? We're all, look, that's the second part that I was going to tell you is that if I check out, then I check out. If I don't, I'm going to die anyways. I'm going to die one day. I'm going to die. We're all going to.
you might as well spend it doing something positive.
Or doing your best to actually live the best for me, for myself. And along the way, people will see that and hopefully they grasp that and they change and say, you know,
Yeah,
fuck
it's
what
definitely
people
contagious
say,
positivity.
do good for myself because we can't do good for anybody. Like they say, you can't, how are you going to love somebody else if you don't love yourself? You have to do good for you and love yourself unconditionally, and others will see that. And that's how, when I stopped giving a shit about what anybody would think or what anybody said about me or thought about me, no matter what it is when I said, because I'm not worried about what anybody's thinking or saying anymore. I'm now I could now easily watch what I do myself. And I don't want to do bad on people because I don't want that to be done to me. I don't want to be treated like shit. So why am I going to treat anybody else like shit? When I say fuck what people say, fuck what they think, it's not that I hate people. It's not that I don't care about people. I just don't care what they think or say about me.
You don't think that way anymore?
I am. No.
You don't have like a hatred towards people or the human race?
No, I don't.
Humanity?
Actually. No, I don't.
No?
I feel sorry for them now.
You did though?
I did at one time. But
you were at where I was at.
Yeah.
Where I am now.
Yes. But now I look at it, I feel sorry for people. They're so focused on everybody else and what they're doing, and they're trying to live up to everybody else's expectations. That's fucking sad. That's sad if you think about it.
Damn, this podcast really went the other way. I mean, it is what it is, but like it got dark, but it is what it is, you know?
That's mental illness.
No, yeah, it is. We
So-
took a break for a second, but shit got real deep.
Mhm.
We're gonna wrap up the podcast. I mean, we can next time we record. I don't know if you want to do it this week. We'll dive into more of that.
Well, yeah, but what I also wanted to add something though. So like I was saying, how it's not the fact that I don't care about people. It's that I don't care about what they think or what they feel about me personally. Because how I feel about me and who I am, I love. I embrace every part of me. And I can't control, and I'll never, ever be able to control what other people are thinking or saying about me.
As hard as you try, you can.
As hard as I try,
Either they like you or they don't.
Regardless
of your qualities.
And it's not that I don't like people. It's not that I hate people. It's not that. It's just that I don't care about what they think or say about me. I love people, and I am a people's person, and I'll do everything I can to ask people when they ask for help. Because I'm not going to just go throw myself on somebody and say, hey, you need this or that. No, when they come to a place in their life and they need the help, or they say, hey, how did you do this? How were you able to overcome this or overcome that? How were you able to dig deep and completely get over the way people think about you and your insecurities?
Well, change your perspective on life pretty much.
It
and the way you
does.
think. No, I mean, that's basically what you're saying. That
Yeah.
They're asking, how did you do that?
Yeah. How did you change your perspective? Yeah, exactly. How could you really overcome and stop the worry? It's because it's embracing who you are and, hey, taking advantage of this life.
But that takes I think people don't realize how much work that actually takes. And it's a lot of work.
It is a lot
It's
of
all
work.
hands-on.
It is hands-on, but in the end,
It's an effort, dude. It's like there's no finish line. Like if you're not going to put the work in, you're basically doomed.
and life's gonna always throw life cards at you. Life keeps going.
It's a game of
life
Uno.
never stops. It never. Like I say, the clock keeps ticking. No matter if you stop, you sleep. No matter what you do, the clock keeps ticking. The sun keeps rising and falling, and there's a new day. A new day. It's what you're taking advantage of in your own life to take advantage of what you're doing here. No matter what it is, Don't worry about what anybody's thinking or saying about you. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of your own wants, your own needs. You have to take advantage of that because that's going to build the best experience that you have on this earth. But stop giving a fuck about what anybody says or thinks about you or anything else.
You want to end on that? We'll end on that. I'll say this, though. We need more people with more positive attitudes.
Oh, yeah.
100%. We need way more positivity in this world. And as dark as this podcast can get, I still want to try and be positive, you know,
Yeah.
but I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to be as real as I can about how I feel.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like people need to be more positive. And you know what? If you're listening to this and you're going through something, try your hardest just to be nicer.
Yeah.
You could always be nicer.
We're
be kinder.
We're being authentic. We're being vulnerable.
And I don't even know if this is the fucked up part. This is how honest I am. I don't even know if I mean that. But if somebody will take that and make it real and is really in their heart to be nicer, I try my hardest. If they'll take that from this podcast, that's really all I could ask for.
Yeah.
And that makes the world a little tiny bit better. And that's really all I care about because that's what it's about, you know?
You got to worry about your steps that you're walking.
So if you're listening, try and be kinder.
At least to yourself.
To yourself, at least, yeah.
Yeah, at least to yourself. Be more kind to yourself. Accept yourself. Embrace yourself for everything and who you are, regardless of what anyone says or thinks.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to preach. I know you're not either, but we're gonna end on that. So until next time.
Yep, I'm Victor Jr., your brother with an open heart. Bye.
And I'm Marcus Marx, signing off.